Today we're going to learn how to identify the slope and the y-intercept from a linear function when we read it in slope-intercept form. We can see that the equation is y equals mx plus b. The letter m represents your slope. The letter b represents the y-intercept. When we're reading this, you won't see the letter M and the letter B. Those will be replaced with numbers, but whichever number is next to the x, that's your slope, and whichever number does not have an x next to it, that's your y-intercept. Let's look at our first example. Our first example says y equals 2/5 x minus 13. I can see the number 2/5 is next to the letter x, so that means 2/5 is my slope. I can see that the number -13 does not have an x next to it, so -13 is the y-intercept. That's your first example in your Delta Math. Go ahead and type in those answers and we can proceed on to the next problem. All right, this problem is a little bit trickier. This equation is not in slope-intercept form. This equation reads as -3y minus 4x equals 15. If I want to identify the slope and the y-intercept, I need my equation to look generally like y equals mx plus b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this equation up by drawing a vertical line. Then I can identify where the variable y is. I can see the variable y right here. Everything except for y has to move to the other side. So I see a -4x. I'm going to move that to the other side by doing the opposite of -4x, which is to add 4x. What I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other, so I'm going to add 4x to the right side as well. The -4x and the +4x end up giving you 0, and they cancel out on the left side, leaving just -3y equals, and then on the right side, I have 15 plus 4x. The next step is to get rid of, again, the stuff that's not y on the left side. Y is right there. The number next to it is -3. Now, this -3 is connected to the y using multiplication. So the only way we can get rid of the -3 is by using division. We're going to divide both sides by -3 to get rid of it. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now, -3 divided by -3 gives us +1, or just y equals, and then this side is a little bit more difficult. What we need to do is we need to divide each one of those terms by -3. So 15 divided by -3. I need to figure out what 15 divided by -3 is. Well, that's -5. So I'm going to write -5 first, because that's what 15 divided by -3 is. And now I'm going to try to divide 4 by -3. Now, the problem is that 4 is not divisible by -3. So if you can't divide it, what you want to do is you want to write it in fraction form, but in reduced fraction form. So I have a +4 divided by a -3. I know a positive divided by a negative turns into a negative. And then 4 divided by 3 is just going to be written as 4/3. And then I can place the x next to it. Now, this is slightly different format than what I've shown you in the past, and I did that intentionally. When I'm looking at this equation over here, I'm trying to figure out which number is next to the x term. So when I look at this equation, I can see that -4/3 is next to the x. That guy is right next to the x right there. So -4/3 is going to be considered the slope of the line. The slope is -4/3. And the y-intercept is the number that does not have an x next to it. The number that does not have an x next to it is -5. So -5 is the y-intercept. That is your second example. You guys can go ahead and type in those answers into your Delta Math and proceed on to your 3 other problems. Good luck!